continuing to
That's true.
deny Disaster of a European victory.
That's true.
Right?
Disaster.
And actually, thinking about North America, the fact that Jay-Z has just won everything means that Disaster, despite having the most tournament players in the top spots, has not taken a single shot.
Yeah, they
Shadowverse
haven't. I
Open
mean, they've
win.
been crushing it. Yeah, the whole team's been doing really well, but like
HSK,
you said,
it's been Crimson Fencer, it's
Yeah.
been Mana Surge. It's not been Disaster.
it has not been Disaster. That's
What
true.
a disaster.
Even though they put most people into the top 8s.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. But
All right.
Himari might be the one. Shibi has given Himari his blessing.
So it looks like both of them are fine with the Daria matchup. They're like, you know what? Let's high roll. I like it. Tilting at Windmill's Dragon banned on both sides, and then we get to see the matchup basically play out in such a way. We haven't seen the mirror matchups be played out, essentially. It's been kind of cross-deck, so Shadow first for Himari and Daria first for ZEROFYNE. I think Shadowcraft is one of those decks that can beat Daria because of Lurching Corpses and Necro Assassins and things like that, but it's still a really tough matchup.
Yeah. I would have to agree. ZEROFYNE has is that a beanie, or is he wearing the hood of his jacket? It's the hood of his jacket.
Yeah, I think it's just the hood, yeah. He's in his Yoda uniform, okay? He's ready to
Yoda
get, yeah, he's ready to get that Jedi Master stuff going on.
Remember what I talked about last time? When we talked about mind reading and seeing the future? Doesn't improve your chances.
Well, no. You still have to make the right plays. You can know the future and still make mistakes every turn.
Well, the way I see it, you see the future, and that's just what it's gonna be.
Oh,
So
I
for
see.
example-
Like, regardless of what you do, it's just going to happen that way, so you can't do anything to change it anyway. That's kind of weird. What's the point of seeing the future if you can't do
That's
anything
the
about
trick.
it? Yeah,
Everybody's curious, but
that's true. That's
you're
true.
just gonna be led to disappointment.
I can see in the future ZEROFYNE winning this game. I know how he's going to do it, and I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's depressing.
Everybody thinks they look into the future and they're like, "Oh, now I can win," but actually, you'll just see yourself losing.
Oh, man. Twice. You get to see yourself in the future losing, and then when it happens, you're just like, why? Why do I even do anything? Yeah, seeing the future, man, what a curse. If you put it into that perspective.
Yeah, don't be careful what you wish for.
That's true.
Sometimes that knowledge can drive you insane.
Like, you wish to see the future, you see somebody winning the Powerball, and you're like, oh, those are the numbers. But then when you pick those numbers, they still win the Powerball. It's just different numbers.
Yeah. Or you somehow lose a ticket, and then the guy picks it up.
Ah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, there's no way to fight it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what the movies have taught us.
Yeah. Sometimes ignorance is bliss.
That's right.
You don't even want to see your opponent's hand. It doesn't matter. The opponent would have had the option to counter you, regardless of whether you saw it or not.
That's true. That's true.
Don't even bother stream cheating. It doesn't
It
matter.
just doesn't
You'll just
matter.
see yourself losing.
That's not good. It's not good. All right, so let's jump into this matchup a little bit. So realistically, without any Daria in hand, ZEROFYNE's going to have to play much more of a fair matchup. I mean, this is kind of the case all the time that we talk about with Daria. If it can actually get enough advantage out of cards in hand, it can win. Golem Assault and Chimera have actually gone a long way to help Daria in that path. Before, Daria kind of just suffered if it didn't have Daria. It didn't really do anything. But now it has other options to kind of get full boards and to maintain advantage. Himari actually activating the Attentive Knight pretty early to solidify early board presence.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. It's going to draw evolution orbs, which I think is actually okay, right? Instead of having this Ogler or necessarily this this Daria or something like that evolve, the Magic Owl is going to have to make the trade happen, leaving no value behind.
That's true. And this is a turn where you can play the Ogler, but it's not really going to match up very well to this board, especially after that trade.
If you're the Shadowcraft player here, you kind of have to play the aggressive plan, right?
I think so. I think you're trying to end the game as fast as you possibly can because you're really not going to get to the turn 10 Aishas that you really want to in this matchup. It's probably going to be decided before then. So definitely taking the aggressive route. I really like the popping of the Attentive Knight. ZEROFYNE, I think, maybe made that play a little bit too quickly. and then thought about his options. Again, this Ogler's kind of a weird play. It does set up for a Magic Missile to be able to clear out this Lich. So maybe he's thinking about that. Maybe he's just like, you know what? This is my best way to keep the board clear, is to present threats.
Yeah.
But it means that he's going to lose a lot of tempo on his big tempo swing turn that he could have had he saved that Ogler for another turn.
Such an awkward turn. If you zombie party, you have enough shadows to Soul Squasher, but it doesn't get rid of the Ogler, so you're going to need to swing in the Demon Eater, in which case you may as well just...
I actually kind of like, you know, side-skirting all of this. You can run your Demon Eater into the Ogler. You can zombie party the Ogler, and then you can Soul Squash the Owl, and then you can Evo Face.
Oh. Is it going to play...
Okay. Presenting a wide board instead. This still might represent an Evo to the face. Maybe a half and half with the Lich into the Ogler. We'll see. Or no Evo whatsoever. Saving it all. I don't know about that. Like we said, if the match goes a little bit longer, I think Daria does have the edge, because a little bit longer means going into turn like 6, 7, 8. And I think not using those evolution orbs earlier for damage for HIMARI, he might be risking being a little too slow. But we'll see. We'll see if it pays off for him.
Interesting. Yeah. Didn't earn really very much face damage, but was able to control a board and become one evolution orb closer, right? That's the payoff that he took.
It won't be long now.
Realistically, we've talked about this, but we're looking at the hand of ZEROFYNE right now, and he's got a lot of removal options.
Yeah.
Not a lot of win-the-game options at the moment.
Chimeras and a bunch of Wind Blasts, which Wind Blasts are pretty okay, but against Shadowcraft not as fantastic.
A little bit more lackluster. You don't really need a lot of damage to take down most of these followers. And I think this is a perfect setup turn for Prince Catacomb. You can even play the Skeleton Prince here, too. Definitely not a bad play.
Which would you value higher? I guess if you play the Catacomb, you can play the Soul Squasher alongside it.
I honestly like filling up the board. This is one of the matchups where I don't really think board locking yourself is that big of a deal, because if you can get incremental damage out of your full board without Daria clearing off any of your followers, you don't really care. I would honestly go with the Soul Squasher plus Prince Catacomb turn this turn.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that feels like what it is. I mean, you're not saving your shadows for Aisha.
Yeah,
right?
You don't need to save it for anything. You don't really need the Ektar to pull you the extra 2 zombies. You're presenting a board that can really net you 5 shadows anyway, so it's not like you're losing that much. And then you're setting up for a really nice Ektar turn. That honestly
and
really
again,
can't deal with.
You're getting away with eliminating an evolution orb without having to spend one of your own. Zombie party again.
Interesting. Okay. Is going to decide to Evo for face now.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely not a bad play. It's kind of, again, it's a 50-50 play as opposed to just going all in for more damage here with the Soul
Guarantees that the
Squasher.
Skull Ring doesn't get its follower banished, right? I guess that wouldn't happen. Yeah, it wouldn't happen. But a skeleton could potentially be banished.
But see, I'm just thinking of the board state if Soul Squasher was also in play right now. And it's almost like guaranteed win. You know what I mean? It's so hard to do anything about all of that because you would have had 4 followers in play to get the active boost for Ektar, and you have a possible lethal.
Okay, well, has a 0-cost Chimera and an Evolution Orb, which I imagine is going to go on the Chimera.
Man, this is that rough spot that we were talking about, evolving against Shadowcraft. It's like, I'm going to evolve into a 6/6 to pop one of these 1/1s.
So, based on this... Okay, yeah, goes for the one without the last word effect. Okay, that changes things. So there's no lethal here, but the Ektar still is going to push quite a bit.
Ektar is still a pretty good play here. Soul Squasher is a decent play here as well. Did find another Prince Catacomb. Got to be more careful with this second one, though. The boards get a little rough when you have multiple put 1/1s into play on your followers.
Yeah, I almost would probably play the Catacomb and the Soul Squasher this turn.
Still electing not to play with those 2 cards. I still think Soul Squasher is probably the best bet to take care of the 6/5.
Yeah. I don't know, the way the board is. I feel like if he had played the second Catacomb, he would have won on the next turn, right?
I mean, there's still a pretty good chance that that's going to happen. ZEROFYNE's got to do a lot of work here.
Okay. It's up to ZEROFYNE. If only he had a 4 play point, deal 1 damage to all followers.
Yeah, and there's no end game to where leaving this board intact because it's not lethal is okay.
Oh,
yeah, and ZEROFYNE is going to tap.
This is rough.
That's rough. Shadow
This
getting the
is
win on
rough,
Daria
yeah.
means that Daria for HIMARI gets 2 chances to win. HIMARI, you can see him with the smile on his face. He's like, "Yup, just beat Shadow, or just beat Daria with my Shadow deck. Feels pretty good."
This all of a sudden, this gets a lot more scary for ZEROFYNE.
Yeah, definitely not what I expected for ZEROFYNE to start out with. Loss here with his Daria deck. Of course, not finding the option immediately. You're no Daria that game.
Yeah. Wow. What a game. Back-to-back Catacomb. We were just talking about how, you know, one of the only cards that can survive the points increase. Thane is another one that got...
Yeah, Thane barely survives. There are some people who play one of them in their deck now.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying that I think Thane is pretty much out.
Yeah. I think Thane is pretty much out.
I mean, maybe it's a little bit on the side of Council of Card Knights in terms of kind of the meta shifted, but I think, unlike Council of Card Knights, I think the meta shifted because of the change, right? Rather than...
Yeah, I think Thane was kind of like an afterthought now. Like, people tried it after the adjustment. They tried it as the normal 3 of at first, and they were just like, ugh, never mind. Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing that is missing from that card now is the turn 9 play where you play it with a Demon Eater and get the ward immediately. Like, that play was huge. We saw that have so much success in competitive play. And the adjustment made that be a lot slower, and then of course with Aisha added in, you don't really need a turn 10 play that does that. You just want to win the game by that point. So
yeah. Thane.
All right, neither player drawing Daria just yet in this Daria v Daria matchup. Concentration will be played for ZEROFYNE next turn, almost assuredly. Try to draw that Daria. HIMARI with less card draw options is playing into the Looking Glass tech. Again, one of those new things that we've seen, just more spells to be casting early in the game.
HIMARI and ZEROFYNE are on the winners final, so whoever loses this match must go on to face Praetorian in an elimination match. Whoever wins this match is guaranteed at least 2nd place. Which is quite a fantastic finish.
Yeah, 2nd place is great. You're still making good money. People still recognizing you for being awesome. Nothing bad about it. All right, HIMARI with the first Daria here. That's huge. Being on the draw too means even a Magic Owl off the top could accelerate this into craziness.
Yeah, we were talking about the effectiveness of playing multiple Darias in this kind of mirror match. And how that just accelerates your game plan by so much.
What's funny here is ZEROFYNE's got to be asking himself, should I have brought Daria today? Where are my Darias? Did I remember to put them in my deck?
Them are taking naps.
Yeah, this is unfortunate. When you have 2 games with Daria where you're just not drawing the card that you need, it gets pretty rough. I mean, that's one of those things, especially if you lose this matchup. If you're a competitive player and you're not like time-tested and experienced, where you can start going on a little bit of tilt, and you're just like, I hate Daria. Daria's the worst, and then you just start playing terribly.
Never again. Yeah, and this is not an elimination match, so ZEROFYNE needs to. It is important for him to keep that composure.
That's absolutely right, because if he does in fact lose this matchup, he will have to play most likely this Daria deck again in another match. So. Gotta keep that composure. Gotta make sure that you don't let it drag you down.
Don't blame the Daria. Blame the game.
I mean, to be fair, if you chose to bring a deck that requires to draw Daria and you don't draw it, that's kind of on you anyway.
How do you feel about his choice not to play the Blade Mage?
Well, I mean, it's one of those turns where you can set up an Evo into a Piercing Rune, and it's not the best. Again, he's doing more of the plan that I like to do with Daria, where you save it to where you can play a bunch of threats in the same turn. He couldn't play his Ogler. If he could have played his Ogler that turn, I think he would have played the Blade Mage. But next turn, he can go Ward, Ogler, Blade Mage, and Chimera, right? No, Chimera's still too expensive. But yeah, he can go Ward, Ogler, Blade Mage, and something else like a removal spell. So next turn's going to be quite great.
Either the Mysterian Missile or the Wind Blast.
And that's kind of like a Daria turn. However, that's not a reset hand. So that means once this board gets dealt with, if it has, that's it.
It'll come down to how Himari can respond.
You're done for.
Yeah, this is actually a really good turn for ZEROFYNE.
Yeah, and he's playing into the missile here.
Oh, and finds
just
Daria.
in time. This is exactly when Himari or ZEROFYNE actually wanted to dump a bunch of his spells.
Yeah, this was literally the perfect turn to draw Daria with his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, where ZEROFYNE, I thought he was in pretty bad shape. This turn turned out to be as good as it can get.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
Evoing face, I like it.
But still not gonna explode yet. I can definitely see Himari doing something. It's gonna be tough to imagine how you can affect the board this wide.
That's the problem. There's not a lot of removal in hand for Himari. He just has that one Wind Blast. He's got an Evolution
The fact that he got
Orb.
missiled out was, I think that's the toughest part about this scenario.
Yeah. Definitely rough. All right, Himari's going to try to get a missile.
Oh,
Not get a missile.
He's got 2 wards to play here.
You know, missile is becoming rarer and rarer off of Mysterious Knowledge. We've been seeing Circle, like, I want to say 90% of the time. It's been crazy.
Oh my god.
That was a big Wind Blast.
Yeah. Chose not to get the second ward. So, yeah, buff up the ward here. May as well play out the Ogler. Now drop the 0 cost. Oh, Himari does not look happy about what he received. That's pretty good.
That's not bad at all.
That's pretty good.
It doesn't affect the board this turn, but it does allow him to get back onto the board in future turns here. This is not bad at all.
Yeah.
Not
Did
bad
not manage to clean the whole board, but the fact that he got a ward down that is more than the attack of a single follower is big. Spends the Wind Blast on it. I think you're fine with that. That was going to happen anyways, right?
Oh, yeah. And then this Chimera comes down to wipe out the rest of this board, and then 6 face damage.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow. He's not even going to worry about the Daria. He's just going in.
I think this is smart.
Unbelievable.
He still has 2 Blade Mages left to pull.
It's true. It's a little bit riskier leaving a threat in play, but I guess if you feel like you're this far ahead, you don't really care. But that's interesting. That's not a play I would have expected, because 4 damage is not like you're guaranteed 4 damage off of any redraw with Daria, and not protecting yourself just a little bit does mean that Himari has a better chance to clear this board, especially with the Daria being left alive.
All right. So what do you think the turn is? Do you Looking Glass and Enchanted Sword?
Honestly, there's not a lot of value to be extracted from this hand. Getting the ward in play is very important.
Oh, he can actually play a whole bunch of things. He can play the Enchanted Sword, the Blade Mage, the Chimera, and the Daria.
Yeah, this is a pretty good turn. This is a pretty good turn. getting the ward, though, very important. Being at 4, trying to clear this entire board would be optimal. As a matter of fact, there is definitely a way to do this.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I didn't really do the trade math in my head, but I would have imagined the Chimera would have taken down the Chimera.
Yeah. Yeah, been a little bit more profitable.
What a hand. You can actually use Knowledge or Insight and then get another Blade Mage.
That's true. Not going to be able to clear out the board, though. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that works. And then he's definitely going to be trading. Okay.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. Leaving that Daria was a pretty big...
The last Evolution Orb is key in this matchup.
Yeah.
And Himari kind of fast-forwarded and played 2 Darias. Right, so everything is coming in line.
I think ZEROFYNE took too big of a risk leaving that Daria in play. Way too big of a risk.
Oh, what? But there's no ward. He has 1 Golem Missile, but won't be able to actually play it out.
And he's staring at 21 damage with no way to deal with any of it.
Oh my gosh. Did Himari just take it away from under ZEROFYNE's feet?
That's it. Himari is going to be in the grand finals, and he's going to knock ZEROFYNE down to have to play against Praetorian.
Oh my god.
ZEROFYNE, I mean, he put up a really good fight in that mid game, but, you know, just one little option. I don't know if it would have affected the game overall, but...
I'm looking at that Daria hand.
Yeah.
That Daria hand that ZEROFYNE pulled, if he had board control and was healthy and didn't lose that much health on a trade, he would have been healthy enough to play out that board and then just not die on that turn.